A deadly virus. A city at risk. Two unlikely heroes. And it's all inside this man's body. This summer, we're going into a body under attack from a killer virus.
I'm contagious.
You busted! Give it up! Oh! Why you hit so hard?
Osmosis Jones.
I wonder what this does.
Welcome to Fanboy and the Snob. I'm Chad.
Chris.
And today we're going to be talking about, for some fucking reason,
Osmosis Jones. And not for some fucking reason. I like this movie. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care. It was like
a fever dream of a movie.
Yeah. No pun intended. It was like one of the last 2D, and it came out around the same time as like Treasure Planet and Titan AE and like all these weird like 2D with 3D elements before Disney decided that it's way easier to animate Frozen and Tangled.
Tangled looked great though.
I thought the whole time I was watching Tangled that it was just a weird spin-off for Frozen or something because the main characters look exactly the same.
Well, they're cousins.
Okay, well, we watched Osmosis Jones. Coming to America 2 is coming out, and Eddie Murphy's in this.
No, he isn't.
So we watched Osmosis Jones because
you thought it was a good animated movie.
Because I think it's a really great animated movie. That's literally the
piece
only...
of shit.
The plot is fucking... No, the plot's cool.
No,
the plot's
the plot's the best part of the movie.
Yeah, just the idea that this...
The execution...
and you can definitely tell that. You can tell the committee scenes where it was like, Drix has to do an like, why is that in the movie? You know, like, because some guy in a committee chair, what if the man danced funny? You know, like, okay, we'll make that a scene.
That was honestly the worst part of the movie where they're like, you can stop dancing now. And it's like, no, this shouldn't be in the movie.
Exactly. And that's a scene where an exec is like, kids like dancing. Throw dancing in the movie.
He is the most unlikable, dumb character in the movie.
Both of them are.
Yeah.
They're both scumbag. And Ozzy's like evil smile that he does all the time.
He's
like,
a scumbag.
It's unsettling.
He's just a scumbag who's trying to do the right thing, but always fucks up.
I do like that. That like he's a piece of shit, but like arguably...
Well, it goes against the grain of what a main...
Yeah.
Is it antagonist or
protagonist is
should
the
be.
hero.
I'm just dumb.
Yeah. It's weird because like it's definitely heavily influenced by R&B and rap.
Yeah,
like heavily influenced.
Yeah, sometimes the music choices kind of threw me out of the movie.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was just like, nope, this is 2001. This is what was popular. Like,
yeah, that was the problem. Where back in the day, where they fuck original music, we're just gonna take these soundtracks and put them in there,
or like sample something.
Yeah. And it didn't work in this movie in the favor.
They sampled Hot Blooded, and it was just like... Ew.
Yeah, a lot of the music in this movie definitely dates it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get to the beginning. The beginning of the movie starts out with...
my favorite actor, Bill Murray.
Yes.
Now, do you see what I mean by, like, I don't like Bill Murray, but I respect him? Do you get
Bill
it?
Murray, I guarantee you, it looked like he showed up on set every day hungover as shit.
Because that's what his character was supposed to be.
Yeah.
His character's this fat...
the most disgusting person
out
in
of
the world.
shape, doesn't give a fuck about anything kind of character.
Almost cartoony.
What did he make his daughter for lunch? Fried Slim Jim sandwich, and then when they're at the zoo, he's like, "Eat your lunch," and he hands her Twinkies.
Yeah,
like
it's just the most unrealistic but cartoony character
it's
where you kind
like,
of enjoy it, but at the same time
he's like a 90s teenager in his 30s where he's still just eating junk food and drinking soda.
Well, I think the thing that we're trying to portray is his wife died, so he kind of gave up. He wasn't the responsible one in the relationship.
Well, neither one was responsible because the daughter has that whole thing like, mom died because she ate unhealthy and now you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But he definitely was like tragic. Like he just gave up on life.
Yeah. Which I feel like gives a lot... It's hard... Like, we're trying to break down, like, a super character study on fucking Osmosis Jones.
Because it's got good characters.
But I feel like Bill Murray's... Like, the scene when he, like... eats the clam. The kids...
That was great. That scene.
What's her name? Molly Shannon?
Molly Shannon plays
like,
the teacher.
He's a little slow. We're probably just going to give him an A. He probably just did this last night.
The best part is he goes, so they're clean? And the kid goes, yeah. according to my hypotenuse. And I was like, it's hypothesis. You know, like, I forgot this scene was in the movie.
So pretty much the kid probably just put the oysters in the thing.
And then he
like
shoots
warm water.
It raw. Yeah, and then he shoots a raw, disgusting, polluted oyster and winds up vomiting on the teacher, which gets him fired from his job.
That was a weird plot point too, where he just gets fired, he gets a restraining order against the teacher, which makes him not be able to go on the hike with the daughter.
Yeah, but it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon, you know? Like,
no, but I kind of like that. It added more to the actual like story than it deserved.
Dude, his kid is the most reasonable person on the planet.
Yeah, she's a good daughter.
She was just like, well, at least I get to spend time with you. And you're like, God damn, what a good kid. Oh, the monkey scene.
That was hilarious.
When Thrax is initially introduced. So he gets fired from his job because he pukes on the teacher, which was revealed around the second act of the movie. So in the beginning, he's like, the daughter's like, wow, Dad, you have the coolest job ever. And he's like, whatever. And he's like working in this horrible zoo where the cages are way too small and all the animals look unhappy. But I like what they did with this movie where Bill Murray was always like gray and dour and everything else around him was bright and beautiful and like people smiling and skipping, and here's just this fucking angry, like fucking fat, disgusting man walking down the street. I liked that part.
He's eating like a bucket of KFCs and she grabs the phone. He's like, you ordering anything?
Oh yeah. But like the way he gets sick is he has this hard-boiled egg and he's putting mayonnaise on it. Right? And then he pulls out a salt shaker and he shakes it for like
the whole scene. And I guarantee you he improv that.
Yeah.
That was not
so he just keeps going.
Because at the end of it, he just goes, he blows the egg off.
Yeah. Because he didn't want all that salt. But then this chimpanzee grabs the egg out of his hand and puts it in his mouth. So and I don't know how he didn't get his face ripped off, but he grabs the chimpanzee by the throat and pulls the egg out of the chimp's mouth, drops it on the ground, then proceeds to eat it.
Ugh.
This movie...
That made me gag.
There were a couple scenes where I just did this in front of the TV because I didn't want to see it anymore.
Yeah. There's weird things we're grossed out by. Eating an egg that it was in a monkey's mouth and falling on the ground. The pimple was nasty. Especially the close-up, you see it pulsating.
I didn't like the pimple at all.
Poor Shannon Elizabeth. Molly Shannon.
There we go.
Shannon Elizabeth's a little different.
A little different. Yeah, so he eats this thing, and then it cuts to inside the mouth. And this is what's cool, because, like, the way they portray the human body is it's a fully functioning, like, city. You're the city of Chris, or the city of Chad, with a mayor, and a fire department, and a military, and police department, and there's homeless people, and shit like that, and... The mayor is my favorite character. I think he's my favorite character because he's such a scumbag.
It's like the Simpsons mayor.
I know. He's voiced by Captain Kirk.
Oh yeah, William Shatner.
Yeah, he was voiced by Shatner.
Oh, can I ask you a question real fast? If this actor is real, what would your inside city be like? They could just be slums, just consumed by alcohol all day.
Mine would just be like
it's like he's eating healthy, but he drinks too much.
Mine would be like the brain is like, hey, everything's fine, and then the further you go down, like the esophagus and like the digestive tract is just permanently like a forest fire, and everyone's dying, and then you get to the liver, and everyone's fat and disgusting and drunk, and then the knees are just like broken down slums. My lungs are just scary, like it's like an industrial zone, you know?
It's like a coal miner.
Yeah.
See, mine would probably be like, he thinks he should eat healthy, but he fucking loves chicken wings.
Well, remember, what's that line? What was it? What are we going to do about the homelessness? We're adding a third chin, you know? Like, jokes like that make me laugh.
Yeah, it's a fucking stupid movie, but it has, like, actual, like, cool stuff sprinkled in.
There's a lot of good one-liners here.
Yeah, and a lot of, like, actual, like, thought put into, like, the process of all, like, how the body works and everything.
Yeah. Just, oh, man. Like, so many
stupid.
dumb jokes. But there's so much gross-out shit, like the snot and stuff. The dam. I was like, oh, man, I don't like looking at that.
One of my biggest problems is I love Chris Rock. I just can't stand his voice in animated form.
His Osmosis Jones, you know, like I didn't like.
They could have had a charming voice.
Yeah,
But Chris Rock's voice.
But he was huge in 2001.
Yeah. I can't stand the voice. The voice ruined it.
Yeah.
Who do you think could have done a better voice for that kind of character? I think Will Smith.
No.
Jack Black.
Jack Black's would have been a good Drix. Shit, I don't know. I think Chris Rock was perfect voice-wise.
Oh god, I hate his voice.
I like it because he's like him or like Eddie Murphy maybe could have done
How
it.
about Chris Tucker?
Chris Tucker could have done it. Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle
You
would
need
have
that
been
kind
great,
of voice,
yeah.
like the higher pitched kind of
But
like.
Chris Rock just gets.
I don't know.
I guess it worked for the character.
The line that sold me on Chris Rock is when Brandy, I forget her character's name, but I think that was the R&B singer Brandy, decides to call, like when she first sees that Ozzy's on the case, and she's like, I'm going to call the chief. And he goes, no.
He tones his voice
Yeah,
down.
like he plays it down, and like you see the emotion, like whoever animated that scene, he goes from smiling to like dread and like just like please don't, I need this. And I was like, damn, Chris, you got really in the emotion in that scene for a second.
Well, the problem is live action Chris Rock, he can act. He can't act,
but
he just chooses to be an Adam Sandler.
No, he doesn't choose. He gets cast to play this character.
No, Adam Sandler's like paycheck. He's like
paycheck, be loud. That's like what they, it's
that's
like,
what they did with Osmosis Jones. But then they have a couple scenes where they're like, all right, you need to actually do something with this.
Like anytime he's doing the police investigating stuff, and like he goes, like when they're on the highway, he's like, I grew up in the crack central and all that stuff, and he's like just giving like the generic like swordfish run through or whatever. But then when he gets on the boat and he's investigating it, Chris Rock's whole like voice and demeanor changes to like fit the scene, and like when he's like, remember when he's like drops his gun and stuff, and yeah, it was good. But that Thrax dude, what a cool like villain design. He looks like the dreads and the eyes, and he's always kind of like
Coke
smiling. No, it's a giant like scythe. Dude, the effect
it was
when it was like pulsating and bubbling, the redness.
Yeah, and I know it's like germs and stuff, but it was fucking brutal.
Yeah,
the death scenes and everything. You see like the blood splatter on the windows.
What about when he pokes the guy in the cheek and it starts to bubble and burst off his face? Yeah. Or when he kills the Mafia Don and the Mafia Don's like, you ain't shit. Yeah. Or when Bruiser throws the punch and he catches it and you just see his arm break in like 6 places. You're like, God damn.
This movie had a lot of brutal shit in it that it's just like played off as a cartoon because it's like it's not a human.
And that goes to why this movie failed. It was marketed as a kid's movie. This is not a kid's movie.
Now, I wish there was a director's cut of this movie where the Farrelly brothers were like, all right, swears and all this fun stuff.
What was the one that I thought he said? It was when the helicopter, not in the nose, when they're chasing Thrax towards the end of the movie, and Thrax like throws something at the helicopter, and the pilot goes like, Mother Flemmer, something like that. He says it, but he says it just like quite enough that it sounds like he goes, motherfucker, as he's like trying to move the helicopter out of the way. And I was like, holy shit. And anytime they would go like, instead of saying shit, they would say spit and stuff. I like that. Oh, it was so good.
It's definitely like, as a kid, I like this movie a lot. As an adult, I appreciate it a lot, if that makes sense.
See, it was the opposite way for me.
You didn't like it as a kid?
When I saw it as a kid, I thought all the live action stuff was disgusting and I hated it.
So, well, that's what I was talking about before. I don't remember any of the live action
And I saw it on Cartoon Network in like when I was 11 years old, I guess. When I was homesick from school. And I just remember being like, what the fuck is Osmosis Jones? Watching the whole movie, going to school, and like trying to explain to people, like, dude, I watched this movie Osmosis Jones, and everyone being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Except for one kid who was like, I saw that shit. It was weird. And I was like, yeah, me too, man. It was fucking weird. Then I went back and watched it, and I was like, God damn it. I should have appreciated this more. This is a great little movie. It's a great little movie.
Well, we don't get movies like this anymore.
It's an original idea.
And I always liked the whole, like, cartoony, live-action kind of split.
Yeah. And the 3D wasn't jarring when they added the 3D in.
Yeah, there was this one scene where they were going off the little girl's eyes. She had a fake eyelash on, so they were like hanging on to that, and the CGI looked actually really good.
Really good. Or when Drix is trying to shut the dam, you know, that looked really good.
And the pill guy's blaster and everything.
Drix, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Just
freezing everything, then he puts the frozen guy in his head. Oh, I fucking hated the dance stuff though.
That little frozen guy, when Ozzy finds him on the boat, and he's like, that animation is like, how did you animate him twitching that hard and then growing 100 eyes? You know?
Well, that's the thing. Like back in the day, they used to put a lot of thought and effort into animation. Now it's like we have a computer to do everything.
Now everyone uses Toon Boom.
And the biggest example of this is Studio Ghibli just put out a CGI movie, Earwig and the Witch. I didn't finish it because it was kind of bad, but the environments look great because it's CGI environments. Yeah. Of course, they're going to look awesome. But the character models just didn't look good.
Yeah.
And you didn't get the emotion that you get from the characters like all the studio. If you see the hand-drawn stuff of Studio Ghibli, all the characters have great emotion in their faces. They actually look like they're living things. And the CGI one, they're just like...
That, and your brain, I think, and maybe this is just because we grew up watching 2D animation, where like when we see 3D animation, we go, that's 3D. You know, like we instantly pick up on it.
Yeah.
Whereas like we're accustomed to 2D, where our parents didn't grow up with 2D. Like my dad won't watch a cartoon. He's like, it's a cartoon. Why the fuck would I watch it? But he'll watch like 3D Hulk punch 3D Thanos, you know? And I'm like, you know, that's a cartoon, right? And he's like, no. And it's like,
but even just like appreciating, like I would think Ryan was watching The Aristocrats.
That's a great movie.
And the art style on that is very rough. If you see like the lines and everything,
but it
just
works
moves fluently.
Yeah. When he puts his cigarette out on the guy's sandwich and then he bites it and opens it, that's such a good little scene.
Like, just stuff like that is just lost. And, like, the last actually hand-drawn animated movie is The Princess and the Frog, which is a fucking beautiful movie.
Last Disney,
yes.
Yeah.
But
there have been others, Red Line, you know? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I really hope Studio Ghibli doesn't go the route of
They
CGI.
will, because it's cheaper. You can outsource to Korea.
Well, this movie got the lowest reviews of, like, any
Everybody hated this movie. And I blame the marketing.
It's not even a marketing. It really wasn't a good... It had a cool concept. The characters...
No, it was a good movie. It was a good movie. Osmosis Jones was a good movie.
Oh, no, I'm talking about... Earwig and the Witch.
Oh, well, is this video called Earwig and the Witch or Osmosis Jones?
Talking about CGI versus hand-drawn right now. What?
Okay, well, do your little non-sequitur bullshit.
Studio Ghibli. I know you're watching this.
Yeah.
Keep your shit hand-drawn.
Didn't Miyazaki come out and say anime was a mistake?
I remember he came out and said, the best channel to watch reviews is Family.
No, he's not. He came out and he said, I apologize for anime. I just want to draw a Japanese zero. Oh. You never saw that documentary about him?
No.
Watch it. It's pretty good. So the budget for this movie is $70 million, which is pretty okay for an animated by 2001 standards. Unfortunately, it only made $14 million in the box office. And again, I blame the fucking marketing, because the guy who is in charge of WB came out and blamed 3D movies for ruining 2D movies, even though this movie has 3D in it. So it's like he didn't even want...
I will give him credit, because...
It came out against Shrek and... what was the other big one for animated movies? Howl's Moving Cat.
No, Spirited Away.
Spirited Away and Shrek came out at the same time as Ozzy. So, I mean, I would put Ozzy above Shrek, but I'm not an average consumer. So Shrek, it obviously goes Shrek, Spirited,
I'd
Ozzy.
probably put this over Shrek.
I would put this over Shrek because this has...
I actually like the live action scenes.
I feel like this felt real. I've said this many times. I prefer a bad movie that someone cared about while making than a good movie that
committee movie.
Yeah, like this is better than some of the Avengers. This is better than Avengers Civil War in my mind. That movie was so
that's what
fucking...
we did for a friend.
That movie was so fucking boring compared to this.
We were friends.
This was in... Yeah, we're friends. Hey,
So were we.
The end fight scene is going to be in an airport. Okay. What's the end fight scene in Ozzy Drix? Oh, a high-speed police chase where they're shooting guns at each other and people are dying. Remember that one car goes over the truck and blows up? And it's like, whoa, those cops are dead. Holy shit.
Hey, but Winter Soldier was great.
Right. That's why I said Avengers
I know. That was the Captain America movie, by the way, Civil War.
Whatever. It's all the fucking same. It's all fucking Disney committee-written garbage.
WandaVision. Watch it.
Yeah,
Great.
sure. I'm sure it's great. WandaVision. You've never seen Sopranos. You don't know what good TV is, so shut the fuck
It's
up.
on HBO Max. I'm gonna start watching it soon. I have like, fucking couldn't finish Kingdom today. I got like 15 minutes left. Then I might watch Sopranos. How many seasons of Sopranos?
5 good ones.
So 6.
I think it's 6 or 7. Yeah.
All right. So, would you recommend this movie?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I recommend this to anyone. You have to be a specific kind of person to enjoy this movie, and that kind of person is someone who you don't get dumbfounded when you're watching moving images. You don't be like, what? Like, you watch it and you go, okay, I noticed the animation there. I like the choice of music in this scene. A lot of the framing shots in this movie were pretty fucking good. Like when the boat is going down, when they're zooming in on the boat, before Thrax shows up. It's such
Titanic people.
Yeah, the Titanic reference was pretty funny. I liked Mayor Kalanick's little ad where he's like, "Smell that, Timmy?" And Timmy's like, "What?" And he goes, "That's the smell of change."
Twist his head.
And then the next time you see
like...
the next time you see Timmy, he's got a neck brace on because Kalanick broke his neck. Or when the drunk guy tries to touch Kalanick and he's like, ugh.
The thing I'll say about this movie is this is one of the last animated movies where they put detail into like the plot and characters and everything.
This is like one of the last original movies.
Although you should watch Soul. Soul was actually the Pixar movie.
I heard Soul was terrible.
By 4chan guys?
No, I just heard it was terrible.
I like Soul. It was a good movie.
I like the city. It's Korea. Where animation's done. Oh, I wanted to read a list. That's right. So another reason why this movie kind of flopped is because Thrax is played by Lawrence Fishburne. However, before Lawrence Fishburne was cast, they had quite a ridiculous amount of people that they reached out to first. Starting with LeVar Burton, Samuel Jackson, Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves, Patrick Stewart, Robert Downey Jr., Mike Myers, Chuck Norris, Kurt Russell, Tim Allen, Billy Bob Thornton,
Bob,
Kevin French, name, the late Dennis Farina, and then Isaac Hayes were all considered. Isaac Hayes' chef.
Yes.
It wouldn't have worked.
Wouldn't have worked.
Lawrence Fishburne nailed it.
Well, hello there, Oz. I can't do the chef voice.
Hello. No, I'm not even.
Hello there, children.
Keanu Reeves wouldn't have worked.
No.
Michael
Lawrence Fishburne is a great gravitas to his voice.
When he's choking Ozzy and he's like, "You want Big Daddy Thrax?" and then he fucking yanks it. And dude, his whole thing is wanting to get into the medical books and kill someone in 48 hours. I want the record.
You're not gonna see it when I get the record of killing his little girl.
Yeah.
It was fucking brutal, dude.
I know.
He the movie you could see was cartoony, but then when they got to him, it was fucking just.
He was like a legit scary. All he wanted to do was murder.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted was to kill Frank. And all the other germs are like, "What kind of racket you trying to run?" And he just, when the mob boss goes, "What kind of racket you trying to run? We run the rackets here." And then he goes, "Death," with like a smile, and you're like, "Oh," and the flaming finger.
Yeah.
And then, dude, when Drix shoots his hand, so he has to fist fight Ozzy, that fight scene on the eyeball was so good.
Yeah. No, this movie had a lot going for it, and
you can tell whoever wrote it really cared about what the fuck he was writing. And unfortunately, when it got to the committee, they started trying to turn it into a kids' movie instead of just letting it being a weird animation.
The funny thing is, you could picture a lot of deleted scenes with Bill Murray and
Uncle Bob.
Wow. Chris,
Farley?
we literally just said his
Lloyd? Not Lloyd.
Christopher
Lawrence. Joey Lawrence.
God, we're idiots.
Lawrence Fishburne.
He was in Cabin Boy.
Lawrence of Arabia.
My strong hand.
Strong hand.
Chris Elliott.
Chris Elliott, yeah.
You could tell the story of him and Chris Elliott would have been so funny if the Farley brothers just.
I like when he goes into the what is it, Memories and Fears, and there's a picture of Chris Elliott marrying his daughter. And then when Thrax get out, so he goes, "This motherfucker was fucked up before I got here," and like keeps walking. Even Thrax, looking at like the subconscious of someone's mind, was like, "I don't like this," like trying to get out.
I do know if I was sick with a fever and you came over for like a 6-pack. The thing I hate about movies, they always come over with a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Like if me and you drink 3 beers each,
we're not drunk, but we're also alcoholics. But they're supposed to be alcoholics.
Yeah. So
maybe there was beer in the fridge.
Yeah. But I just love the scene with the hospitals there and Chris Elliott's just chugging a beer.
I gotta say, that's like if Patty like dies or leaves you and Finn never existed. That's you trying to raise Riley on your own. And I still work at the zoo. Me getting you a job at the zoo and us just drinking and being scumbags. Wouldn't you go to the Buffalo Wings Festival with me?
I'd go right now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's not.
I want fucking 90
I got
different
the long
sauces
hair.
and 120
Instead of wearing
wings.
a bandana, I wear a beanie. You know, like you got the gut. Remember when Bill Murray shows off his gut and it's like, goosh.
Oh, that was Bill Murray in his prime right there.
Yeah. That dude gets laid.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend this movie.
It's a great little movie.
Don't go in it hoping for art.
No, go in it and look for the art. Because there is art. There is art.
It's a movie of the time, which definitely isn't made anymore. So if you want to appreciate like cool animated,
there's a lot of like
they're risque.
There's a lot of really. This movie, like you watch it and you're like, that kind of sucked. But then like 5 minutes later, you're like, you know, the idea that the nose is a dam and there's guys with machine guns shooting pollen is kind of cool. You know?
Yeah, and he's just like fucking blasts the pollen, just goes.
Yeah. And then the snout comes out and he sucks it back in.
That's so gross. He's like, oh, what's over there? But thanks for watching.
I like this movie a lot.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments if you think this is a good movie. If you think it's a shitty movie, also let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe and look out for more content. Thanks for watching, guys.